welcome back, and it's been a lot happening since you were here last, both on the exterior and on the interior. So we can start with the exterior. All of the new turf field is prepped. We've got all the poles in for the new fencing. You can see the track going around the turf field. To the south, the new parking area that's being prepped. To the west, another new parking area that's being prepped. And the west side, you can see the scaffolding is down, and you can see the restored window stash. And a lot of the terracotta bricks have been replaced, and repointing of the masonry. All of the upper modillions have been replaced for safety with a high-density concrete look-alike. It's a molding that we were able to make locally. And on the other three sides, the scaffolding is still up, but a lot of the work has been completed. Part of the program is going to be to refurbish the bleachers. So we've taken off all the rotten boards, all the brackets are going to be taken off and either galvanized or epoxy coated, and then new boards put on. Or on the outside here now, we've progressed to doing all the exterior, starting on the cladding, the masonry. Typically we do for all of these new things, once we start up the new things, we do a little mock-up of what's going to happen for the rest of the area. So here's an example of our masonry mock-up. Part of the NLC is the MultiPurpose Room, used by both the students and the school. We're taking the old bleacher seats from we took out the bleachers in the Andrews gym, but we're refurbishing and reusing the bleacher seats to be seating on the seating portion of the multipurpose room. Adjacent to the multipurpose room is a servery, which will be a servery window and a full modern kitchen. And it can be used again for the students for their lunches, and it can be used in the evening for any of the neighborhood people who are putting on an event. They can use the kitchen to complement whatever they're putting on. Okay, so the 1914 old Roper gym had glazed, it's a glazed brick going around all four sides. So with care, during our renovations and seismic upgrade, we took off all the bricks going around and salvaged as many as possible, so that when we rebuild, all of the walls are going to have a certain amount of glazed brick on them. So now we're on the west side, the new seismic stairwell on the west. And it goes from level 0 all the way up to level 4, acts as a stairwell for accessing all the floors, but it also is a big part of the seismic upgrade structure, where we have all the drag struts coming into the shear walls built within the stairwell. So the progress of where we're at now is on the first floor here. We've got the drywall sanded and painted first coat. We've got the T-bar grid in. We've got along the side by the windows, we've got what we're going to do with our heritage trim piece on all the exterior. Where we have exterior windows, we're going to have the heritage trim running along. The sill on the inside of the windows, which is called a stool, we're refurbishing and redoing those. Starting today, the room next to us is starting flooring, and next week we'll be at the stage of even installing our millwork and trims around the rooms. Where you see these box outs, this is going to be a double-tiered locker system inside the block out, and then on each side is a lower-tiered set of lockers with a countertop and a waterfall edge going down the vertical side. On all of the southern corridors, the existing chair rail, which is about our shoulder height, is going to be restored, running the full length of those corridors. Okay, so this is level 2 south corridor, and this is going to be the corridor that's reinstated to as close to the 1914 original as we can kind of get to. And it's going to have the bulkheads on the top rebuilt and the egg and dart cornice and tie into the lobby. So the main entrance of the school will be coming off Grant Street, coming down the sidewalk with the up to the second level with some of the marble features and the egg and dart cornice around the top. So as we progress into the Learning Commons area, where you see the orange all the way along the outside, that's going to be all curtain wall, which is like all open glass. And the big opening you see there is the big panel that I showed you that's going to be another pivot door, a single pivot door with a huge First Nations carving on it. Okay, so we're in the outdoor classroom now, and the curve that you see going around will have a posts and transparent railing going around. And out in this area here will be there'll be 6 or 7 planters which will be permanent, and we're going to get the kids from the shop to build these planters. So this is a beam that we had to bring to the outside of the building. This is part of the seismic upgrade where it connects the shear wall within the classroom in the 1914 southern corridor out to the shear wall. It's called shear wall number 10. Which is on the stage portion of the Andrews Gym, in the Andrews Gym. And originally this connecting beam was designed to be in the attic space of the auditorium, but constructability said no, it would never be able to be fit in there, so we brought it to the outside. So up in the attic, the old brick chimneys had to come down due to weight and seismic. The big new air handling units are in, and they will get return air from the old areas where the chimneys came up through the roof, and all that will be rebuilt with lighter material. And the other big thing that's happening in the attic is there's quite a bit of drywall that has to go in for fire separation, but we're trying to keep as much of the graffiti as possible, and then once the school opens up again, the kids will be able to carry on with their tradition of the grad kids come up at the end of their year and come up here for a day and put graffiti on the wall. So we're on the second floor now on the northwest, and this just a good example of what I was telling you about how we're progressing upwards and going from the northwest along down the corridor and then across the south. Restoration has progressed. It's probably about 80% complete now.